I didn't hear anything for what seemed like forever, so I spoke again. "Are you here for the open house?" Again, no response. No sound. I tried one more time and yelled down, "Where does this vent lead to? Can I come play ball with you?" All of a sudden, I heard a raspy little boy's voice say, "Come down to the basement." The ball began to bounce again, only slower this time, almost like he was listening to see if I would say anything else. For some reason, after he told me to come to the basement, I felt a little creeped out and uncomfortable. I went into the kitchen and waited until my mom's phone call ended, and then I asked her if people had shown up for the open house and were possibly looking around. She replied that nobody had shown up yet. I had a sick feeling in my stomach and asked her if the people who owned the home that were selling it had maybe let their son, a small boy, stay behind during the showing. She told me it was only a single older woman who lived there and that she had already moved back to her hometown, so that the house sat empty until she sold it. I was beyond confused. I asked her where the basement door was, and she pointed across the kitchen to a door next to the pantry. I slowly opened the basement door and glanced down the dark white wooden stairs. I couldn't see much besides the stairs and a small area of concrete at the bottom. There were no lights on, no sounds, nothing. Something felt off to me, so I shut the door and decided to go back to the living room until it was time to leave. I was freaked out and ready to go. I sat down on the couch in the living room, and not long after, the bouncing ball sound started up again from the vent. I was almost irritated at this point, so I crawled over to the vent and said, "Who are you? You should bring the ball up here so we can go outside and play." I heard the kid's voice again, louder this time. He said, "Just come to the basement." I responded, telling him no way and that a dark, creepy basement is a weird place to play at. It was quiet besides the bouncing ball, so I sat and listened, waiting for him to speak up again and say something. The bouncing seemed to come close to the vent and get a bit louder, and then back away from the vent and seem further away. Back and forth, back and forth. I pictured him bouncing the ball while pacing around the basement. As I listened, minutes went by of just the bouncing of the ball. I had been sitting, listening for several minutes now, and had leaned my head against the vent while I listened. Out of nowhere, the bouncing abruptly stopped, and a voice that seemed directly next to my face in the vent yelled, "Get out of the house before my dad gets back!" It startled me and I jumped back. I didn't hear anything after that. I ran outside and sat on the front steps replaying what had happened, the remainder of the time there until my mom came out and